All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my first stream of the Yavin based Team League Season 3. I am your host, Nerfly, Brad. I am here joined today by Darkling, the lovely stream lead for all of us streamers over at the Legion Discord. Darkling, how about you introduce yourself? And we'll get back to him in just a moment because I have muted myself in Discord. Give me one moment, folks. Would not be a first stream without a
Hey,
hiccup.
how's it going, everyone? You have me muted in
Oh, yeah, I know.
Discord. There we go.
I just realized. There we go. So we're good to go. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right, so hey, everyone, I'm Darkling. I basically make sure all the streams go all right for everybody. So I'm here to join Nerfly here. We actually had a really good time in LVO hanging out, and we wanted to repeat that going again. So here we are.
Yeah, it'd been a very long time since we'd been able to stream together. I think we did it in another YBTL season. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think the last time we did it was easily before the last Invader League. There was a lot of solo streams in Invader League, and I'm a big fan of having everybody work together and have multiple hosts on, so that way some good conversation can happen. Kind of boring
Yeah.
by yourself. So,
Oh yeah, 100%. It's super easy to carry it when there's someone else is there, and the work you've done for all of us streamers over the Discord with organizing this has been really appreciated.
yep. I do what I can, make sure everyone has a good time and everyone has an opportunity to stream. So, if anyone's interested in streaming or just joining anybody as a co-host, please shoot me a private message, and we'll see what we can make happen.
Yep. And for all of those who are joining us from Germany, welcome as well. Unfortunately, I'm not very fluent in the German language. So I'm not going to try and butcher it for us today. But thanks for all those international viewers coming here to support one of our German players. We kind of have a interesting narrative going on in this game here. We'll get to the action here in a moment as the players are advancing through round one. The conditions and deployments and objectives are at the bottom of your screen there with recover the supplies, so it is the box grab, advanced position, so the big long L-shaped deployment, and clear conditions, so it's a nice sunny day here on Jeddah where we have a little bit of Clone Wars action going on. But yes, to our players, this interesting narrative that we have going on. This is actually kind of a battle between two big community organizers. TalkPolite himself is a big organizer over here in the States. Does a huge job. He ran LVO, which happened just not last weekend. We both Darkling and I were there, as he mentioned. It was a great event. It was really well. TalkPolite is also very well known for running the Invader League for the past 4 seasons of it.
Four seasons,
Four
season
seasons.
5, he is handing it
hmm
off to Thrawn, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, Thrawn from the Fifth Trooper on the Discord. He'll be running that going into season 5. But TalkPolite has done a huge amount of work for the community on that end. And then his opponent for today is apparently his equivalent in Germany, from what I've heard. A massive organizer over there, Daniel, um, doing a great job organizing the community over there in Germany. I personally am not too familiar with the German scene, but I'm sure he does some excellent work. I've seen some great stuff come out of there with some large events and a number of players. So we've got this international showdown between two huge community organizers here on Jeddah. Any thoughts on that, Darkling?
I mean, it's great to see that we have an international community actually playing the game together because there's just these pockets of players that you wouldn't even think about. Yeah, sure. I mean, you and I are in the states, so it's easy for us to be like, okay, so LVO, you're going to see a couple people from the East Coast come out to the West Coast to play. NEO, you're going to see a couple people from the West Coast come out to the East Coast to play. But like the fact that we have TTO and it makes it easy so that we can have these two, completely diverse communities which will have completely different ideas and metas as well, being able to come together and play, which is great. And I mean, I'll probably discuss that when we get to the list themselves, because a couple things that I'm sure that Daniel here has come up with that I would not have thought of from what we do here. And then, TalkPolite's obviously doing a more traditional list that we're used to seeing here, but it's great that we see, like, of all the matchups, we get the two community heads playing against each other. So I mean, you can't get a better story than that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so speaking of the list, looks like we've got, as I mentioned, a Clone Wars matchup going on today. So we got over on Daniel's side, we have Obi-Wan and Rex with their clone accompaniment and a Bark Speeder going off against a Dooku and Grievous list in what has been come to be known as Double the Fall here in the States. So why
I'm
don't you
not
go ahead
sure
and
where that name came from, but we're gonna go with it. So,
I do believe it actually comes from Dooku's command card, Double the
ah,
Fall. Twice the pride, double the fall, the famous quote from Revenge of the Sith from Count Dooku, and
okay,
because it's the two big characters, the name kind of stuck as Double the
ah,
Fall there.
so that's where that originated.
Yes,
So
so
yeah,
why don't
you
you
want to go?
take us
Or
through Daniel's list?
absolutely. So the big two staples with any Clone Wars army at the moment, barring the tank coming in another week or two, is Obi-Wan and Rex. Obi-Wan is decked out with Saber Throw, Strict, and Reflex. So that's going to always be generating dodges on Kenobi. So that way he can use the Sorasu Mastery as well as Deflect as often as possible. Saber Throw is great because it allows him to use that rainbow die in a long range. So he'll be able to then change it up to a 2 red, 1 black throw. I believe that is how it works. Half the die.
Yep.
Yeah, so you can choose when it's half the die. So he's going to do a 2 red, 1 black ranged attack at range 2 with Kenobi. So he's going to predominantly stick in the center of the clones then. And then, of course, strict orders, so that way he's pulling off additional suppression as he goes along. TalkPolite just said commander token, so he doesn't forget who. Okay, got
Yep.
it. So he's just basically informing us what's going on. Captain Rex is a different build than what I'm typically used to. So I typically put hostile environmental gear on Rex, so that way he ignores most things and he's able to just trudge along. But the aggressive tactics, 100% all the time. Same with recon intel. That gives him, was that recon 2
Yep.
with a scouting party. He has tactical 1 already invested on him, but giving him the offensive push upgrade allows him to take basically tactical 2. So he's getting 2 aims every time he moves, anytime that he recovers. So it's going to be interesting that he's going to have that many more aim tokens on him, because I traditionally don't run him with offensive push, but it could be good because that he's able to share out those extra aim tokens as he sees fit. And right now, Rex is kind of a token generator until the ranges close in on each other.
Yeah,
Other than that,
absolutely.
we see the two Z6 units. We see a singular DC-15, which is kind of interesting because usually I think the DC-15 is amazing, but we see one of them here. We see one of the new weapons, the shotgun here, the DP-23, which is a Pierce 1 result on it. It's a 2 black, 1 white, range 1 to 2, and it has a Pierce 1, which is kind of useless here against the droids. Not exactly that big of a deal, but it might be great against, say, Grievous. Now, in addition, we have the 2 clone specialists without any sort of upgrade attached to them. So effectively, they're just using them as a token generator as a free action. So you're going to see 2 of the clone troopers here just freely generate an aim, a dodge, or a surge every time that they activate, which, it's probably not a bad idea because it allows them to then take an additional move or an attack and not have to worry so much about token generation from some other source. And then, of course, as mentioned, we have the Bark Speeder. Personally, I'm not a huge Bark Speeder fan, but it has such a big dice pool here against the droids that actually might work out really, really well because it has the twin laser gunner as the attachment here. So it helps slow down that speed 3 down to a speed 2 compulsory. And now you're seeing a rainbow with the addition of 2 black and 2 white that give him pretty good die pool going against any of the just standard line trooper groups of droids. That about wraps it up for the clone side of the board.
Yeah, it's a really strong, interesting list. You've got a couple different elements there. I really like the inclusion of the clone specialists, being able to get those aim tokens out. I think we might see that, just come and be able to pass those aims, move them around to different units in order to really get that clone action synergy that we see going on. Talking about what the clone army has done on this opening turn is they've really moved up. Looks like they've claimed one box. One of the naked squad with the specialist has moved up and claimed one box, and the others are moving up. Rex on one flank, Obi-Wan and the Bark on the other, staring down this massive army of droids creeping over that hill there as we zoom over to them. As we take a look at this big old group of droids here, I'll get to talking about the list that TalkPolite's brought today. So
Absolutely. And before you do, it looks as though the droids have captured one of the objectives in the back and making a move so that on the next turn they're going to activate and claim a second objective on the back. So it's a race to the center objective, effectively.
yeah, 100% trying to move forward. Notably, the two units that are claiming the boxes appear to be the units equipped with the E5S sniper rifle for the droids, which we'll go ahead and get talked about in the list right here. So this archetype, it's 8 activation droids. It's known as Double the Fall because you're running the two main faceplates of the list, which is General Grievous and Count Dooku, running both of them together. And they're a really interesting pair. Both of them can be really brutal once they get up into melee, really good as combat. They're even a threat together to other lightsaber users, which might threaten Obi-Wan in this matchup here. Grievous himself equipped with strict orders and endurance to fight off his biggest weakness, that is suppression, with his 2 courage. You know, he can be suppressed out really easily and forced to run away from the board because Grievous is a coward and doesn't like to be shot. And then also equipped with the DT-57 Annihilator pistol, which is Grievous's personal pistol that gives him a little punching power at range with his relentless ability. Count Dooku coming in right Count Dooku coming in right next to him with a pretty familiar build to me as a big Vader player, running Force Reflexes, Force Choke, and Force Push in addition to aggressive tactics as the players wrap up round 1 here. So it looks like Dooku didn't really use any force powers on this first turn to any major effect, just moving up, getting a solid position. I know what TalkPolite likes to do with this list is he kind of likes to use Grievous. Looks like Grievous got all the way to the middle box. He likes to use Grievous as kind of like a heat-seeking missile and run him directly into the opponent. Let's see what these command cards that are coming out for players at the top of round 2 is. So take that,
So,
Clankers versus You Disappoint Me.
ooh, interesting choice, because now that's going to mean that all the clones have range 4 as long as they have an aim token, which is
Correction,
going to be
only
huge.
the ones with face-up tokens.
Correct.
Yes.
So typically you'll see that on the Z6s, is what
You'll
we'll
see it on
traditionally
Z6.
see.
You can see it on Rex as well because it allows to Rex use his Gunslinger out to range 3. Because he can move, get the aim token when he activates going forward, and then take a shot at range 3 with Gunslinger, which is pretty nice. That's also a really good fire support target. Even use the other activation if you can, or if you have any HQ uplinks in the list. It looks like the orders were given to this yellow Z6 unit that's out here in the middle, and it looks like the other order is currently being decided what unit he wants to give it to. So we
Yeah,
see,
and I think it's going to be either between the other Z6 or Rex.
yep.
And it looks like it's going to be the other Z6. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Good call there, Dark.
so we'll have to see how he wants to make that work out. But effectively, he's going to use these two as a way to at least start leveling down anything that comes near that box, especially because those two Z6 units will be at range 4 from that box, as is.
Yep,
So if
and
you want to go ahead and resume the
talking
droid
about the
cover.
list. So first off, reviewing what happened here on the droid side. So You Disappoint Me. What it does is when Count Dooku it's Count Dooku in 2 units when he issues the order with the 3 pip there. When he issues an order to that unit, a unit gains a dodge token. And then after Count Dooku performs a ranged attack with his lightning, typically, or saber throw if he has that available to him, he can do a speed 2 move with that unit. So I think this play here is really to give Grievous a dodge token and then set up for if any kind of unit comes in to try to contest the middle box, Dooku can pop out, hit them, and throw them back further. For example, if like Rex is to pop up or Obi-Wan's going to try to come in, he can just throw them back and try to get away with this middle box here.
Yeah, it looks like this is a very defensive play of the card, mostly
Mm-hmm.
for those dodges, like you said. I don't think it was played with the lightning in mind, almost as if the lightning's kind of just a back.
Yep, absolutely. So it looks like those Z6s are getting ready to maybe take an aim and take a shot here. Don't know who exactly they're shooting. Looks like they're shooting at Grievous. So let's see what this rollout is here. One of the first shots of the game. So it'll be a range 4 shot with the Z6. TalkPolite in the chat just letting us know that that's exactly what's happening. And here comes the rollout.
Not
There's
terrible, but
not terrible.
thankfully he has an aim.
Yep, and does he have a surge? He does have a surge token on that unit, so he can choose to convert that if he so wishes.
It looks like he's going to be.
He might, depending on what else the rollout is here. Because if he gets more crits, okay, so he can force additional saves if he chooses to use the surge token here. Because it looks like Grievous, I don't know if Grievous will have cover. He may not have cover here. Well, depending on how the
From
players ruled it.
Yeah, I mean that's up to the players how they want to rule that one.
Yeah, I've seen both. You can either use that tiny little rock to say, hey, that gives cover, or you can say, if you're on top of here, I'm technically high. My head is higher than your base, so you wouldn't have cover. if
Yeah,
it
the
were a flat
tooltip
surface.
does say that the hill is light, and it looks like that's how they are ruling it.
And looks like Grievous will take 2 wounds there unless he decided to use block, which it looks like he did. So he used block, so he did get the surge to block on that. It will not deflect because Grievous doesn't have the force abilities to send shots back at those shooting at him. But Grievous will only take 1 wound and 1 suppression from that attack.
Yeah, that dodge really helped. It not only negated one additional wound, but it allowed him to move to the surge to block, which, as you just said, saved him that wound. He would have
Absolutely.
been down 2 wounds already, and potentially having to make another save there. So
All right, we're just going to see Grievous activating here, and yep, this is probably going to be Grievous running away with the box. So claim and move, I am sure, is what's about to happen here. So that way the droids can tuck the box safely away, and the clones now have to advance forward into the droid lines to try and take the boxes. Good play here, safe play by TalkPolite, trying to come in here and take the win. Um, Using Grievous's good speed and fast deployment to jump on that middle box and run away and force the clones to come to him. However, that's kind of what the clones wanted to do anyway, so it's going to be a big old gunfight here in the middle of this street on Jeddah. Alright, so going back to the list here on TalkPolite's side, coming along with Grievous and Dooku, we do have 6 units of B1 battle droids, the basic core unit of the Army in this specific format of Yavin-based Team League. The basic core units of each faction are the only ones that are not unique to a team or can't be taken in a certain restriction. So there's a certain rule going on with different team compositions right now where you can only have one of each unique you can only have one of each unique character on a team per faction. Looks like we got a rollout coming out here. We'll take a look at that if it happens after Grievous has moved over there. And the only ones that are exempt from that are B1 battle droids, stormtroopers, phase 1 clone troopers, and rebel troopers.
yeah,
So,
your
yep.
generic core that has come in the starter kits is basically what's exempt.
Yep. So what we have over here for LJs, we have 6 units of B1s, 4 of which are equipped with the E5C B1 trooper, which is a heavier version of their normal E5 rifle. Just brings in a little bit extra firepower, adding 3 black dice to the pool instead of 1 white die. One of those units has an HQ uplink to be used in order to trigger coordinate chains, as we see Rex activating here, and 2 of them are equipped with the E5S sniper rifle variant of the E5, which has critical 1 and adds 1 red die in addition to the white die and can shoot all the way out to range 4. As we talked about earlier, notably the units that took the boxes in the back here are the ones with those longer range weapons. So I wouldn't be surprised to see LJ keep those, TalkPolite keep those near the back. Go ahead and hold them off to the sides and just poke and add suppression at long range where he needs to against these clone troopers who primarily like to fight at range 3 and range 2.
All right, so we saw Rex go ahead and move up, and he generated the aims from the offensive push and the tactical, and then he also generated a dodge token as just a second action here to help buffer his clones that are going to follow up with him.
Yep, so Rex in a little bit of a risky position here. It looks like he probably will have heavy cover, depending on where the leader of that unit is. From that leader, I think it would definitely be heavy cover going through the stairs, but I do think Rex is going to take a good amount of fire from some droids here on this turn. So here comes a shot from a full B1 squad with the EFC. Ooh, pushing 2 crits through. That's really good to punch through that heavy cover there.
So really good rollout initially. And getting an
And
additional hit that's irrelevant, but still the 2
yep.
crits. It's
So
fantastic.
what that does is that allows 2 saves to be made for Rex, even without having to spend the surge, so they can keep that for defense on those B1s. So here come the 2 saves for Rex.
Just letting them know they originally pulled out the wrong die.
And
Making 1.
makes 1. Rex does have, I believe, a unit with a surge token within 1, maybe?
I don't see enough. Oh yeah, he does. The red troopers in the back.
They may not be within range 1, though. We're going to have to measure that. And they are not, so Rex will have to take that if he so... Yeah, Rex will have to take that, so it'll be 1 wound on Rex and 1 suppression. So it's important to keep your clones as close together. You want to stay within range 1 so you can token share. But this does at least provide opportunity for this red unit to go ahead and activate next. And it looks like they're probably going to move up and then take a shot they won't be able to take a range 4 shot because they themselves will not be able to get an aim token for themselves if they chose to do the move and shoot here, but they will be able to use the aim tokens from Rex. We'll see what they have in range after this move.
I believe they were outside of range 4 in their original place, so they would be unable to do much. And right now they're out of range 3 of everything that they can at least see. So really unfortunate here for the clones, where they're just getting not an opportunity here to really take advantage of much.
Yeah, a little bit of interesting positions here for the clones. You know, they're going to be kind of facing an entire army with only part of theirs. And the droids, on the other hand, are really entrenched, altogether cohesive, are going to be able to lay out a giant volley of fire over this low hill here. Alright, so clones cohering up here into the cover here, behind the stairs, and we'll see what they decide to do for their second action.
Yeah, because currently the two troops that they could see at range 3, orange and blue, are perfectly shadowed, even from the units that he cohered outward from by these stairs.
Mm-hmm. So there may be a slight confusion here over how Take That Clankers works. He may be trying to take a range 4 shot here. This is unfortunately not actually a legal play because the red clones themselves do not have an aim token. They would be borrowing from Rex.
Yeah.
As far as my understanding of the card is correctly, yeah.
Yeah, it triggers off having the initial aim token.
Yeah.
The borrowing takes place after those conditions would be met.
Yeah, you need to have an aim. You need to have an aim token on your own unit in order to trigger the long range shot.
Yeah, that's my understanding of it, but I don't know if that's 100% correct.
Yes. I'm also in the same spot. That is my understanding, but we'll see what happens
like
here. It may
TalkPolite's going to allow it.
Yeah. So it looks like this shot is going to happen. We'll go ahead and talk with the players after about this and see if, if there's some ruling we aren't aware of. But it looks like they're going to take the range 4 shot into Dooku. Not a great start.
He has a dodge on him.
Yeah, you need to put those wounds on, though, right? The way you beat this double the fall list is by just putting fire into those heroes.
Absolutely. Because once one falls, then that's...
Yeah. So that Surge, unfortunately, the Surge not being what he wants there, he's going to use the second aim from Rex to convert to 1 additional hit. So if he uses the Surge on them, I believe that's 1, 2, 3, 4, which would go down to 3 and could be brought down to 2 if Dooku decides to dodge.
I think that, it's a tough call because you have the Bark Speeder coming up.
So it looks like Dooku did not, it selected to dodge, I think?
It looks like the answer is yes.
So that would be one deflected, a save and a deflect. So that is oof. So that is 1 wound back and no wound sustained by Dooku on that. Just 1 suppression, improving his cover to heavy.
However, that does open it up so that the Bark Speeder now can, if and when he draws the token for it, roll in there and have great shots on Dooku without the chance of him dodging and deflecting it back onto the Bark Speeder.
That is correct. However, that entirely depends on whether or not Dooku goes before the Bark Speeder goes, because Dooku has the ability he doesn't need to move much right now. Dooku could very honestly just take a dodge and use reflexes to give himself a second dodge coming in against the attack to further protect himself. He's not really at threat from anything except for the DC-15 that would be coming in from the clones. We do have the red droids moving up now onto top of the middle hill in order to remove cover from that and get maybe a better angle. He may be looking to get a light cover shot onto Rex here.
Which looks like he is positioning all his troops to do that. He might actually have Rex in the open.
Well, Rex would have light cover because of his suppression.
Oh, his suppression, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does not have the stairs interceding, so yeah.
So yeah, that looks like that actually may still be... From the top of the Mini's head, I do believe that would still be a heavy cover shot. But we'll see what they decide to do. Because it looks like that line just clips the stairs. And Rex is obscured by it.
And that's one of the nuances.
A good shot from the droids here.
Crits are coming out. Big time. But yeah, so it's one of those nuances of TTS where you can get that exact measurement, whereas a lot of times on the actual table, you would have to go back and forth with your opponent and say, good enough, yes, no, the intentions, figure it out.
Hmm.
But one of the nuances of TTS is you can get that exact line and find out the cover based on it.
Yep, and it is really nice to be able to do that. Oof, that's actually really close. I'm trying to take a quick look at this on stream. So it is the middle of this red line, so it may actually be just over. We'll see how they ruled it. Looks like they may have ruled it. That's wrong dice. The players will correct that, I'm sure, in a moment. Um, and it looks like they did rule it as heavy cover. And that would be 2 blocks for Rex, so only one more suppression. All
Yep,
right.
as you said, looks like it's heavy cover because they reduced the
Reduced it
two
by
hits
2.
to nothing and just only
Yes.
the crits getting through. Rex taking another suppression.
Yeah, that could get dangerous really quickly here if Rex gets a lot of suppression on him.
Well, it would
Um,
force him to play the 3 pip, which is We're Not Programmed, which
mm-hmm.
would set up for a massive, massive fire support turn and would clear all the suppression on Rex if
Yeah,
that's what he decided to do next turn,
which
depending on
he,
how further wounds and suppression come out.
yep, which he may honestly be planning on doing that anyway, having exhausted offensive push on this turn.
That said, you need to have your clones set up a little bit further along because
Mm-hmm.
they'll only be firing at range 3 here as a fire support.
I would definitely be
So,
so. He does need to watch his movement there. That is a difficult piece of terrain to go around. I don't know if that's super significant because he should be able to get to a similar spot by moving the tool around the piece of terrain. Um, looks like players are discussing that right now.
and they might just rule it as it's close enough, depending on
Well, as soon as he gets, looks like they're just correcting it now.
yeah,
As long as the movement ruler's not touching it, he's going to be able to get to a very similar spot as we're seeing here. Just got to
agreed.
make sure you're following along correctly. Got to get out of that rubble blast hole there. So it looks like they're going to move up. I wouldn't be surprised if I actually saw some double moves here from the
Yeah, I think
clones.
to set up for next turn, you're going to have to double move the remaining clones that have not activated.
Though this unit, I think this unit specifically, he's going to have to watch out and be a little careful about because they have a box. He also needs to watch that cohesion. He can't cohere into that difficult terrain without having to slow down. So once they fix that, sure, it'll be
So
corrected.
my general view of this is yes, they have the box. However, I don't think being careful is going to get you a lot because now Grievous has the box and he's running away. 2 droids with the snipers have their 2 boxes and are way far in the back. I think you almost, I don't, I hate to say it, you have to throw a little bit of caution to the wind here to try and at least start causing some things to happen in the droid lines and break a box free. Otherwise, the game's already over.
That is fair. Though that unit, as note, just to note, I do not believe that unit. I'm trying to identify which unit that is. That is Unit 6. So that unit only has a clone specialist. It doesn't even have a heavy weapon to contribute to the fight. So maybe if you just get him in a support position where they can start generating good amounts of tokens. Um, as we see blue droids move up here, looks like they're probably going to take another shot onto Rex. If I know how TalkPolite likes to play, that is very likely what's going to happen here. And this time, it is almost guaranteedly. Ooh, it still might be a heavy cover shot with the base just barely being obscured.
It looks to be that way.
So I do think that is still technically a heavy cover shot. We'll see how they rule it. Rex, of course, having a dodge token to help him against any kind of crazy shots coming through. We'll see how many crits get rolled. Oof!
Oh my god. Well, I
Two
mean, you don't need to
crits!
worry about cover when you roll crits.
2 crits again. That's breaking through that dodge and the cover. So another 2 saves. Oh, and Rex
Oh,
takes
flat.
2. So Rex is now up to 3 suppression and 3 wounds. Um, you know what I think might happen here? I can't measure as a spectator, but if Dooku can move up, he may have blocked himself, but if Dooku can move up and get into range to pop Rex, he could just end him here.
He could move in a position that he would have a very heavy hover, only seeing like maybe his blasters pretty much on the other side of the trooper token
Hmm.
for blue. That should be about a range 2 move or a speed 2 move.
about that. So here
Oh,
goes.
however, the
Yep.
hill is a heavy cover, or is considered difficult.
So
So
this is
there's probably no
Obi-Wan.
way he can do it.
Obi-Wan being pulled for the Republic. Now he thinks he may want to just jump in there and get up there so he can start using Guardian with Obi-Wan, get it within a certain range and try to protect Rex here a little more.
Absolutely. Just to pull some wounds off Rex.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, the
that
problem is when you're rolling crits, you can't Guardian those away.
that is
So,
true. So he would also need to move within range 1, which that is almost certainly not. And it looks like he is just going to take a dodge. Move up
the
and dodge.
dodge would come from.
So
Well, it
like
looks like he's
move
taking
up,
two
dodge,
dodges.
and reflexes and recover reflexes looks to be the play here. I think we're seeing a little bit too much caution from the clone player here.
I agree. I
I
think
don't
you're going to
know
have
if
to
he, yeah,
throw a little bit of caution to the wind here and start making a very hard charge at that hill.
yeah, I don't know
It's
if
going
he
to take the additional
necessarily,
time to get over it.
I don't know if he necessarily realizes he's probably going to lose Rex on this turn. He may be starting to realize it, but especially that not the non-double move by Obi-Wan there does scare me a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
this is going to be
yeah,
another set of droids firing at Rex here.
yeah, TalkPolite is really just going to try to punish this forward Rex placement here, um, without being blocked by LOS, and just pour as much fire on as possible. Limit his actions on the next turn possibly, or force the 3-pip, or just straight out kill him, and I'll just remove 3 cards from his opponent's command hand immediately.
Yeah, I think the mistake here was not double moving Rex to get him behind the silhouette of this uh,
Absolutely.
wall.
Moving up near that the hollow ad right here in the center of your screens, folks, I think would have been a really good spot because he would have been out of line of sight, wouldn't have been able to be shot, and in a good position to pop out on the next turn. There's one more crit coming in.
And they're claiming that as,
Should be
yeah,
heavy
I was going to say,
covered.
it
Yep.
should
So
be
the
heavy
one
cover, so it
save
should
here,
just be the crit.
which Rex
But,
will take another wound, which will put Rex down to 1 wound remaining.
and add a level that he's going to lose in action next turn.
Yep. Again, we have to force that 3-pip. Also, the one thing is, even if he goes with a 1-pip from Rex next turn, Dooku has Feared Surprise and Intimidation with Cunning, which means Dooku gets to go first. So I
There's
do
no
think,
need
yeah,
for or Grievous to even throw any of his command cards out at this point.
yeah, I think, yeah, Rex is probably gone either this turn or at the very beginning of next turn. We're gonna see the Bark Speeder come now. See if the Bark Speeder can actually punish these troops a little bit. This Bark Speed should move at speed 2 because it does have the Twin Laser Gunner
And it
equipment,
looks
which
as
lowers
though
its
he's
speed.
trying to move the token to get
Yeah,
over to it, so at least they're taking care of that. That said, do you fire at Dooku, or do you fire at any of the droids on the hill to try and whittle down the sheer numbers you're facing?
I personally would shoot at Dooku because that's what you need to kill here.
I agree.
But it looks like the way he's moved, he looks like maybe he's setting up to try to go down the alley afterwards to try to get after Grievous. So it looks like he's going to move up, aim, and probably shoot at some of these droids. In the position this Spark Speeder is in, it cannot see Dooku. So it looks like we're going to take a shot at blue droids here.
Yeah, the way he's silhouetted, he's going to have to go after the droids. I
Yep.
think, I don't know, I think I would have probably moved a little bit differently to try and get Dooku, but again, you're still facing such a sheer number of things. You have
Mm-hmm.
to at least start taking some out.
Yep. So maybe just going for the easier shot here. Rolling 3. He doesn't have an aim, so he can maybe convert 2 more.
It looks like, yep, he definitely took that aim just off board
And does
and
not
rolled into
convert.
nothing.
I had that happen with my Bark Speeders in a practice game the other night a lot. So here come the rolls for the droids. Luckily, droids can't save very well. So they have the light cover from the hill, and they will save none, so they will lose 2 models. So chipping into that um, droid health there, trying to bring these units down, giving his clones a chance to finish off some activations. We may see, depending on how many units can still see Rex, we may see some units start to. Well, let's see this black unit in the back. I think this unit's just going to move into within a position of Rex and try to take a shot. Yep, so the leader can see Rex here, I
And it
believe.
is range 4.
And it is range 4, so we're probably going to see that rifle come out. Yep, positioned right up there behind the leader. The rifle can See Rex poking out over those stairs. So here comes that range 4 shot. Really just looking for the critical here again, trying to put those crits in.
1/4 chance of seeing a crit, and
And
what he
there it
has, he's
is.
a crit.
So here comes a save. Will this be the end of Rex?
50% chance, and he makes it.
No. Just another suppression.
However, even though he didn't kill Rex, that suppression is just as deadly at this point.
Yep, I think this is really going to force the 3-pip.
If he wants to keep Rex alive, yes. If he wants to just go ahead and throw Rex away, then you'll see one of Kenobi's cards be played. I think the 1-pip from Rex is absolutely pointless.
Alright, so here comes the split fire. This is the remaining rifles from that droid unit going into the Bark Speeder. Bark Speeder should have cover 2, cover 1, plus if it does get cover from the... Oh, it actually does not look like it would get cover, so it should have cover 1, so that looks like it might be 2 saves for the Bark Speeder here. We'll see how the players determine
Droids are
cover.
rolling really, really well right now.
Well, the nice thing about droids is you're really kind of just hoping for crits anyway, because you don't surge on offense with your B1s. So you're just going to throw dice, and you're basically just taking whatever you can get. You have just as good of a chance of getting a hit as a crit on most of your dice. So you're looking for
Yeah.
whatever you can get.
They might say that he has cover because the hill is high enough.
Yes, they certainly might. That's, entirely on players to determine how terrain is determined on a per game basis.
And it looks like they agreed that they don't have cover. So, 2 saves on the Bark.
Yep, Bark saying, nope, my armor can take that, thank you very much. Your E5s do not do much to me. Alright, and we are headed back over to the Republic. It's going to be a core trooper. So see, it looks like this is either going to be the green or gray clones. Green, of course, having that DC-15. Gray having that clone specialist. And actually, the green clones here also having a clone specialist. So being able to poke, if they so choose to, at range 4. I wouldn't be surprised to see these guys move left out with Obi-Wan. That looks like what we're going to see happen here. Trying to move over in front of yellow and get in a position to fight on the next turn.
I think this is another one where you're going to have to double move.
This is, I would do
Right.
100% double move. Yep. Your opponent only has really one shot left to take outside of Dooku. You just want to, move to a spot where Dooku isn't going to be able to move up and zap you with lightning. So, probably just outside of range 3 of Dooku. And then just hold on and get ready for a big fight on the next turn.
Yeah, it will also set up the 3-pip for Rex.
Yes.
Which, even if Rex gets eliminated, still the 4 clone trooper activations is going to be pretty amazing, because that really opens up your ability to fire support.
Absolutely. Just double checking something on Dooku's command card here. So yes, if you it needs to be performed against a trooper unit, so he's not able to move the Bark with his lightning.
Alright, so back to the Roger Rogers. Only 1 trooper left.
Yeah, just moving that box up appropriately with the black squad there. Here comes the white droids. Let's see if they can get into a spot where they can take a shot at Rex.
I don't think they're going to have range.
Well, it might be close. I think you're going to be I think they are going to be just out, like you said. Yeah, especially with how he's cohering his dudes. I think he's anticipating that he's just going to be out of range. And TalkPolite will probably just take a...
Well, it depends if he has to claim this objective. I don't know if he claimed it last turn.
Oh, I think that actually was probably a claim move on this turn. You're correct. Because it looks like it started unclaimed, and then he'll probably color tint that. Yep, so that was a claim and move. So them just getting in a position to poke with their sniper on the following turn with a move shoot.
So it looks as though, based on this, Rex should live to fight another day.
Until Fierce Surprise and Intimidation comes out. Now, the nice thing too is I think TalkPolite has noticed a possible mistake he made, in that the blue droids that he removed were not only at the front of the squad, but actually may have opened a hole for Dooku to run up into.
Quite possibly. It's
So if Dooku can fit there, we still may see an attack
the
from Dooku.
biggest problem is going to be that the hill is considered. Where was I thought I read that it was difficult for troopers. It might be opened.
So it's the sloped parts from as me as a map
Oh,
designer, my intention is the sloped parts of the hill are open, but if you go over like the hard sides near the buildings, that is
okay. I
difficult.
see. It's different models all jammed into one. I get it now.
Yes. Yeah, I did some Frankenstein's monster stuff when
So
creating that one.
is this one of your maps?
This is indeed, this is a map I created for, I believe this was for an Invader League season. I've made so many at this point, I'm starting to forget which ones were made for what specifically. But I do believe this was made for Invader or YBTL. And I based it off of Jeddah. There was a previous Jeddah Town Center map that had been made that kind of inspired me, and I wanted to remix it a little bit. You know, I wanted to get some thematic components in, make it feel like you're fighting in the alleys of that city that you see in the movie Rogue One, where you see Jin and Cassian moving through all those kind of tight corridors and interesting desert kind of themed buildings with little bits of like temple stuff built into it. And then I also wanted to give it kind of, like there's been an insurgency going on, so you have like some destroyed buildings in there, and you have the crashed X-Wing, of course, which is seen in a particular scene of Rogue One, where, ooh, so we see Dooku coming around the side here, maybe a double move, yeah, Dooku's gonna get aggressive here, I
Interesting.
think.
So Dooku's going to run interference then next turn based on this. Kind of
Yeah.
risky because that means that absolutely you're going to see Dooku's 3 pip to try and break off Rex's 3 pip. Otherwise, yeah.
Well, you're 100%. Yeah, you're going to see the one pips, I guarantee you.
Oh, the one
Fierce,
pip
yeah.
instead. Yep.
Fear, surprise, and intimidation. Yeah, he's measuring for that. Fear, surprise, and
Yep.
intimidation here is going to be 100%. Dooku's going to move up. He's going to force push the gray unit with the box into him or closer to him and cohere in a way that he can jump into melee second. And then what he'll do is he'll probably then move into melee, take his relentless attacks. So he'll use his lightning against Rex to kill Rex, and he'll use his saber against the gray clone troopers to try to kill them, and possibly even set up for another box grab if Obi-Wan can't take him out. Now it looks like he's measuring range here. We're gonna see no relentless for Dooku on this turn, but I do think we're probably gonna see fears. I wouldn't be surprised to see fear, surprise, and intimidation. Possibly fear, surprise, and intimidation versus either hello there, which I no, it wouldn't be hello there. We're probably gonna see call me captain. No, it is the three
Oh,
pip.
yep. It is
Oh,
the
and
3 pip.
double the fall.
Interesting.
Interesting as well. This shows how much I know as a non-separatist player. So one thing to note, that suppression is not removed until the beginning of Rex's activation. So if you go ahead and let the players know that, it is when he activates, not at the beginning of the turn.
Already on it.
Thank you.
So one of the interesting things here with We're Not Programmed is does he want to put tokens on? It looks like he is putting a token on Rex, but he could effectively put it on all the clones, on 4 clones, and then take a 50-50 shot at drawing Rex instead of either a trooper or the bark speeder here, because he has 2 leaders who will be in the pool, and that gives him fire support from 4 clones if he were to get lucky enough and draw that token.
Yep.
But it looks like he's going to take the safe bet and put the token on Rex
Well, this also
in the
gives Rex a
meantime.
surge token,
Yep.
and then he's going to probably give it to at least a couple other units around. So 3 other clones are definitely going to be getting the order here, which puts up some fire support potential. Dooku will get priority if Dooku so chooses to embed himself early on. We'll see if Dooku's okay with taking a shot or two off the start here. So the droids issuing, of course. Looks like Grievous is the only one that's not in the pool, with one order going to Count Dooku and the other order going to the droids to do the coordinate chain. And aggressive tactics, those surge tokens being given out to the frontline units of the Separatist Alliance, including Count Dooku, the orange droids, the red droids, and the blue droids. And it looks like the order's going to Rex. So he is up one order.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say I just let them know it's one too many tokens out there. That said, putting that token on gray means it's going to be returned. So I think you put it either on.
Well, it would not be returned. Let me read Double a Fall real quick. So it is at the start of the activation phase. Dooku can choose to pull his token out to remove those. So I do think putting it on gray is something that you definitely don't want to see here. You don't want to see it on gray because that would get removed. Now, unless you definitely want them to have a surge token.
Yeah, either green or yellow would be the safe one. Well,
Yes.
green's probably in range two, but one of those two to allow.
I personally would honestly give it to yellow, green, and red plus
Yes,
Rex. I don't think blue and gray need them because, yeah, blue will lose theirs to Double the Fall if um,
gray will lose the
yeah,
double
if
fall.
TalkPolite decides to use the ability at the start of the activation phase, which I don't really see a reason not to, because he would just be putting his commander token back into the pool, and which he has both in the pool,
Yep, and
with
that
having
means that
yeah,
it's guaranteed to come up. So it's not
yep,
like it's going to put him at risk.
yep. So I do think we're probably going to see grays get removed here, unless they're indicating that that is supposed to go to green. So yep, he is going to remove the token. It looks like. No, he decides to keep it. He's not going to use the double the fall. He's just going to move up
Oh,
and looks like touch the
spicy.
building, and we're going to see what he decides to do here. Um, so he's out of range. No, he does have range 1 on gray, so he can
Oh,
force push them. So yeah, here comes the lightning to finish off Rex. Surge to crit on this, I believe.
and
So
that should
two
be enough
crits
for
with
Rex.
a Pierce 1 should do it. Yep. So Rex is gone. And then I do see, so that's the full action there. I probably see Dooku. Um, I'm surprised he did not use
Interesting,
force
because that
reflexes.
bark is in the way. He can't get the unit leader where he wants it.
Well, I think what he's doing is he's just pushing them off to the side.
Yeah, getting them out of a usable position.
Hmm. He's probably setting up for something like setting up for his attack on the next turn, maybe, or forcing them to just make an interesting way to get separated. Oh, he actually might be trying to get them out of range. Oh, he's trying to specifically scope out the specialist, I guess.
Well, he force choked the specialist.
Okay. Which
If
still
that was
does
unfortunate.
not that does not actually prevent the specialist from using its ability, because that ability is granted to the full unit. That just becomes a model, similar to how comms techs work.
Yep.
So they still get to tag their specialist and still get to use that ability. It's just the cool model is removed from the board. It's always the cool
It just
ones that
means
die
that
first.
Gray no longer has the use of three of their clones there. They're now in the
Hmm.
silhouette of the building, meaning that leader's out there with the box by himself.
Yeah, so this is an attempt probably from the droids. If they activate next, they're probably going to shoot Gray, because all they can see is the leader, to force him to drop the box where it is.
So the box does not transfer
No,
when the
box
unit leader
does not
transfers.
transfer. If the unit leader is the only model able to be killed and the unit leader dies, the unit leader moves, but the box stays where it is. So this is a great way. If you can find individual unit leaders, that's how Force Choke is also so good, because Force Choke can choke out the leader of a unit carrying a box, which allows you to then make them drop the box immediately.
So it looks like we're going to see Obi-Wan.
Go in on Dooku here. So he did use Force Reflex, so it looks like he did use Force Reflexes to give himself a dodge. So Obi-Wan jumping in here on Dooku, I think, is actually a pretty safe bet here, because what he does is he gets himself into melee. He gets an attack onto Dooku without Dooku getting an attack on him first, so he can probably get a little bit of maybe a health advantage. And then, this sets up. He's in a good position. He's close to a lot of droids. I'd get as close to as many droids as possible here with this move with Obi-Wan to maybe set up for, you know you're going to lose priority on the next turn. So it's, I think, do you play, if you're Obi-Wan here, what do you play next turn? You set up for either Knowledge and Defense, which would give you a lot of dodge tokens to use against Dooku, or you set up for,
Well, knowledge and defense, yeah, because everything's at range. There's a lot of things at range too. So yeah,
yeah.
knowledge and defense is a safe choice.
So I
Hello
think,
there might get you out of combat with Dooku if you so choose to not face Dooku and start
well,
going through the horde.
if there's enough droids there, so hello there, is that at range 1 or range 2?
I can pull out the card and look.
Let's take a look. Because if
Where's
it's
my
at range
cards?
2, if he can get it, so it looks like there's the save. Ooh, good hit from Obi-Wan. So that'll be for 5. So that'll be probably 4 saves for Dooku with the block if he so chooses to use it.
I'm opening my card box. Give me a hot second.
He did dodge and he blocks all of it, so no wounds to Dooku off of that one.
All right, so below there gives him nimble, and then he gets the choice of tokens of enemies at range 1 to 2.
1 to 2. Okay, so that's the important part. I
And
do
knowledge and
believe
defense is range 1.
so I do believe right now Obi-Wan may be in range 1 to 2 of possibly 4 or 5 enemy units, which means he gets a huge, nice token stack and can get a standby, which is crucial when fighting in melee with Dooku, because what it allows Obi-Wan to attack twice in a turn if Dooku decides to attack him or do anything nearby. You know, because standby can also trigger move, which would also trigger charge off of Obi-Wan if Dooku decides to, like, move around to the range. Now, Dooku can possibly defeat that by using Force Push, so we'll see how it goes. I do think Knowledge and Defense is a good play. So we do see the shot here into green in the open, looks like, from red, and getting great hits. So there'd be 6 saves if Obi-Wan decides to not Guardian, which I do not believe
I
he's
think he's
actually...
out of range.
He might be out of range again. Um, yeah, so that'll be 6 saves for those clones.
Losing
Oh,
2.
so no surge there. Well, he can spend the surge from gray if he so chooses.
And yes,
And
it
he
looks like
will.
he's
So it
going
looks like
to.
only using 1. Good saves for the clones there. Though that suppression will hurt their action economy if they can't rally it off. And that is red droids done. See, I do think knowledge and defense is actually the better play here versus Dooku, because you're gonna lose priority anyway, because he's gonna probably burn. He's gonna burn um, Fear, Surprise, Intimidation, and that way you don't lose your standby token to being force pushed. All right, so here comes the rally roll. Looks like it is green that is activating. They do make the rally, so no loss of actions there. And I wouldn't be surprised to see some kind of aimed attack or some sort here against the droids. Maybe a move shoot to get better cover. We'll find out.
Well, they do have the ability to add red to their dice pool if they were to fire at orange or blue. So they could do some serious damage.
I don't know if you want to fire support this shot. I don't think you have any units that are necessarily in a great spot. Maybe red.
Red would be the only one, and even then, it's not going to get you a lot.
If you aim and fire support. So it looks like he is adding red to the pool. Because this is the DC-15 squad. He probably can use the specialist to give himself an aim without having to spend an action to do so. Which looks like he is doing.
So he's going to get 2 aims here. One for the action.
Yes, double aim. Now fire support looks a lot better.
Yes. Now you have the Z6 from Red Squad.
We'll see if he decides. He
Oh,
does not
not
chooses
going
to not use
for
it.
it.
I would have personally definitely fire supported there.
Yeah, with that many aims, I would have added the Z6 for sure.
Because you're just what you're trying to do is you're trying to force more attacks through. You're trying to just force more wounds over the cover. And the way you can do that with fire supporting is just by having those aims and giving yourself the ability to shoot like that, you just increase your odds. So the question is whether or not he wants to spend the other aim here. Looks like he's spending a
Looks like he's
surge
spinning
from
the
red.
surge.
So it looks like he's spending maybe a surge from red, so that would only convert one. Green did not have one. Yellow did not have one. Gray no longer has one. So it looks like he's only spending the one aim. And the droids will save one and take three. So that'll put that droid unit at a significantly lower strength. I believe they're down to the heavy weapon, one dude, and the leader. But yeah, I would have probably fire supported his clones there just to try to completely eliminate a unit before they activate.
Absolutely, just to put more die in, and yeah, that additional aim there would have meant that you had so many more blacks you could have re-rolled. Z6 would have been a lot nicer because you had that surged crit. Well, the crit one. So some good potential there that I think
All right.
is missed.
Looks like orange droid's probably going to aim shoot the bark speeder here. Yep.
Wow.
Ooh, too bad he doesn't have too many surges. But a
That's
really good
still
convert. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to make 5 saves on the bark speeder. Yikes.
that is well, that could be a bark speeder right there.
It could be.
And it
Oh,
goes
so
to
that'll go
the
to the wound threshold for the bark
yeah.
speeder.
That was an excellent shot by those droids there.
Yeah, droids really bringing the heat this game.
They're doing fantastic. I don't think there's been a single shot the droids haven't had a crit
Yeah,
or haven't seen.
maybe the luck has changed in this season, and it's the red dice roller that people should be rolling on.
I refuse to acknowledge that.
And it looks like that'll be I believe that is damage. That means the bike will have to rally to get a second action.
Yeah, effectively it's suppressed.
Yes.
Tree.
I will say
But
this is just super thematic right here, though,
I
on
think at
stream.
this point you take a shot with blue or brown at the bark speeder and just try and finish it off.
Yeah. Honestly, even just going with the E5 S's in the backfield isn't an awful idea, especially if you can move up to range 3 of the bark without being in range 3 of any clones, because the bark is forward positioned. So looks like yellow's going to move up now.
That should put him at range 3 with quite a few options here.
Mm-hmm.
Blue has yet to activate, so you can put more wounds on blue, try and take them out.
Now, I will say one thing that Daniel is doing a lot this game that is kind of typically frowned upon in the highly competitive Legion community is he's doing a lot of forward cohering here. So what means is that he's cohering his dudes in front of his unit leader, which means that he's going to be able to take shots from range is measured from the unit leader, right? So he's going to be able to take shots at range 3 from his own unit leader. If TalkPolite wanted to, TalkPolite could actually back up so he has range 3 of the front dudes in the unit, but not of the unit leader, so he can then shoot at range 3 at the clones without the clones being able to return fire, because they would then be suppressed afterwards. And we don't see TalkPolite really taking advantage of that so far this game, because it is turning into a brawl.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna say everyone's. Whoa,
ooh, a
that's a
good
pretty
answer.
decent roll.
Good answer. This is one I'd probably spend that extra aim on. And
Looks
looks
like
like
that
he
is what he's
will
gonna do.
just
But
try
yeah,
to
I mean,
convert.
it's one of those circumstances where they're so close together at the moment. I don't think the forward cohering is effectively a negative. But earlier on, you did see a little bit of forward cohering, and that means that the droids get a range advantage.
Alright, and the droid's
And
losing
one
3,
block.
so this should be down to just the unit leader in blue now. Now, I will say it is still a disadvantage here, because what it allows is his units in the backfield that haven't activated can also shoot and move backwards.
Exactly.
And get to it. So you
They
can
will
still,
get that
yeah,
range
you can
advantage.
still kite effect very effectively here. Like this, like look at this. He has range 3 on yellow, I
Yep.
believe, with this brown unit, so he can just aim and shoot. He's going to go for the bark instead because the bark's a higher target. But from this unit, he could shoot at yellow, and yellow could not shoot back at brown. And he has the advantage to then just also retreat because he has the advantage on boxes as well. He can
Oh
essentially.
Jesus!
Oh boy,
So,
these droids, man.
oh man, red die roller power.
No surge on this one, but we're still going to see 4 saves for the bark. It should be, excuse me, three. No, 4 saves for the bark because it's 5 down to 4. This could be the end of the bark right here. And it will not be. The
Ooh,
bark
mix it up
holds
with a
on with
wound.
1 wound. Go, go, bark.
Looking to draw that command before it goes away.
Well, that bark has already gone for the turn, sir, I
Oh, it
believe.
has. Oh, you
I believe
sure?
it
I don't
moved,
see a
or was
token
that
mark.
last turn when he
That
moved
was
up and
last
didn't shoot
turn,
Dooku? So the bark still has to go.
and there he is.
Well, there you go. See, Dark actually paying attention to the game. I'm just here rambling.
Hey,
Uh,
I sometimes notice some things on some occasions.
oh man. Also, Chad, if you have any questions or anything you want to ask us about in regards to the game, in regards to Star Wars Legion as a whole, the community, feel free to say whatever you want, mention what you want. We'll do our best to answer them as we move on here and move through the game as we commentate.
Oh, he might not be able to make this move.
So he will be displacing Obi-Wan,
Yep.
which is actually illegal. No, it's a repulsor unit. It only
Oh,
displaces on
yeah.
landing.
We both missed the obvious reason as to why it doesn't do anything. Because it's a speeder.
Yup. Now, interesting enough, now the Bark Speeder's in a spot where it would get heavy cover from the units in the backfield.
I've been playing, yeah, true. I've been playing ATSDs and armor too long. I forget that repulsors are a thing.
I'm actually starting to dip my toes into the armor pool a little bit. So it's going to rally, see if it gets an additional action. It will not, so it gets 1 action, so it gets to shoot here, so probably no aim on that Bark. If TalkPolite is so generous as to allow him to have that action back, which he is. One thing to note about playing on TTS, once the tokens hit the battlefield, you are definitely committed, but your opponent can always be generous and let it you have it back. So here
And
comes.
generally, this
Yes.
community is pretty forgiving.
Oh, absolutely. We're here to play good games. We're not here to be sticklers about it must be this way.
I think
Um,
you go after black with the box. They're in
yep,
the open.
yep, because he's got black in the open. This is definitely the shot you want to take. I actually once, on this map specifically, played a game against TalkPolite and completely wiped an entire squad.
Oh,
Whoa! Talking
well,
about wiping an entire squad, my
you don't
bark speeder.
you don't need an aim token when you do that.
Yeah, let's throw a 7 saves. Let's see how many of those box cars you roll, TalkPolite, because that could be the whole squad. Oh, the
Come
unit
on,
leader
who's the unit
survives.
leader? Oh man,
Wow.
that's dangerous.
Oh
That
man.
suddenly went from a pretty safe unit to not a safe unit.
Oh yeah, that unit needs to run now. That is woof, and that is the power of catching droids in the open, ladies and gentlemen.
Yikes!
Woo, that was almost flashbacks there for LJ, and that specific spot, TalkPolite rather, in that specific spot, he did the same thing, and I had a unit of shore troopers that moved up onto these stairs that I'm now pointing out on stream in the middle of the
Oh
board on the
yep.
clone side. In that game, I popped up and I took a fire support shot with those shores with an aim and wiped out an entire B1 unit in the single
Yeah.
shot in that same exact position. So I'll needle him a little bit about that in the post game. He's going to activate that unit with the leader now and run away as fast as possible. Droids, of course, not getting suppressed because of their ability to be droids and not be organics, like weak organiclings or whatever. Getting in there, being having to duck. They don't care. They're made of
I
metal.
believe the appropriate term is meat bag.
Meatbag. Thank you. The callback there. Oh, what a fantastic character. I
I'm
miss
actually
HK.
about to redo a playthrough of KOTOR 2 because I bugged out KOTOR 1. I got pissed. Stopped playing it for a while.
Oh
So I think
no.
I'm actually gonna pick it back up now after LVO. I'm like reinvested. I want to definitely replay KOTOR 2.
I need to go back and play those games too when I find the time. I've been doing a lot of other projects recently, so and getting really into Legion, so I haven't had the time. And I'm probably going to have even less time with how some certain changes have happened for me as of late with moving and stuff like that. So We're going to see, I wouldn't be surprised to see this red unit just try to take out the activation of blue.
You might as well. It has yet to activate. It's an easy kill. Finish it off, and
I guess the question is, do you try to use your blue clones with the specialist to give him an aim to take him out instead? No, he's gonna say, no, let's do the safe bet. We'll use blue to shoot later. Um, we're just gonna try to take these, 9 dice and try to eliminate this one remaining dude that we've got in heavy cover.
oh, he's splitting fire.
Risky, but he does get the crit,
He gets what he needs.
and he gets what he
Ooh,
needs. Because they do not. Do they have a surge? They do not.
there is surges around, but none on blue.
So blue is eliminated, and here comes the Z6 shot into.
I'm assuming going to be orange. Yep.
Yes. The clones putting on the heat this round.
Yeah, it
A
took them a
limit.
while to
Yeah,
get going, but once they got going,
yeah,
they're now a train rolling.
yeah. And putting 2 through, so that's at least 1 save. Here, boop. Nope. So that is 1 more eliminated for the battle droids. Yeah, the clone's starting to put some fire down. That bark really coming in, effectively removing an activation. We're going to see if white can answer back and eliminate this bark speeder. I think that's really going to kind of come down to how this Obi-Wan versus Grievous fight goes. If Obi-Wan can win, decisively into Dooku here, or not versus Grievous, Dooku versus Obi-Wan. If he can win decisively here, that'll be big.
Yeah, that'll really change some things.
Because it then allows
That's
Obi-Wan to
done.
go after Grievous. Of course, we also have Grievous possibly running out in late game and doing a trained in your Jedi Arts game, or trained in your Jedi Arts play, and just bombing the entire Republic army after Obi-Wan's been weakened.
Yeah, they are clustered. It would be a good opportunity. It would be a little risky to do it now, however, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
once
do.
you see what
Yeah,
happens with the Dooku Kenobi fight, I think that's when you'll
that's
see
when
him
you
setting
choose how
up for
you're
that.
going in. Yep.
He
All
could
right.
also scale on top of the building and do it and have heavy cover as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. So here comes the shot. Looks like it's going to go into the bark speeder, and that would be just 1 crit. So 1
Oh,
save.
it's
Will
looking
the
for a
bark hold
50-50
on?
roll.
No pierce. Oh, the
Oh,
bark is gone.
so close, and no surges to borrow. Can't even borrow surges because it's not labeled as a
No,
clone.
it is not a clone. It is just a vehicle.
Yep.
So that is another activation eliminated for the clones. In
That
this.
said, what will be nice is you might have the ability to use those clone surges on the tank coming up.
Oh yes, with that veteran clone pilot, I'm so excited to mess around with the saber tank. I'm
That's why I
so
decided
excited.
that during this season I'm going to suck it up for my team and run clones and
Yeah,
just need a decaf, cough, to put in the tank cards that have been spoiled as of yesterday.
yeah. Ooh, as of round, well, I think we're probably going to get a bunch of goodies for round 2 that I'm excited to play around with. I know some people were surprised to see me running Gar this season, at least for my team. With the different rules, we had 2 Imperial players that were splitting up what they wanted to use there. So instead of running my usual Vader, I switched into running Gar for this first round. And that's
Yeah,
something that I've actually been leaning into in real life as well. I've been moving towards playing, I guess I'm a big fan for white armor, so I'm playing Imperials. I'm playing Gar in real life. All I need them to do is add the First Order, so I can add that and have my trifecta of dudes in white suits on the Legion
yeah. You
table.
and I are doing pretty much the exact same concept then.
hmm I will say I do thank the current Shore Trooper lists that were in the meta for pushing me towards playing clones. Just feel, those black attack dice, red saves, the ability to play around with surges and critical and using keywords and fire support. Those lists, the triple shoreline with Krennic, did really kind of feel like playing a Republic style list and gave me ideas for the potential of the faction. So I'm really excited. I really like how they work together and working that. And I think they're a faction with a higher floor, a higher skill floor to get used to, but they have a really high skill season or skill ceiling.
Ceiling.
Yes,
Yep.
season.
Ooh, getting a crit in there.
Yep. So it looks like he's going to use an aim to re-roll. I do believe he got that from the specialist. So a good shot from these relatively naked clone troopers here. Ooh, and getting
Oh,
all 5 with 2 crits going in. That is good shots. That'll probably be into heavier light. We'll see how they rule it.
should be heavy.
So only 2 being rolled? Maybe no surge to convert one that was a surge?
It looks
Yep,
like
so
there's
it
no
looks like the
surge
2
to
crits
move
came
around.
through, and that was 2 more droids eliminated. Yeah, the droids looking a lot more sparse than they did at the beginning of the turn.
Yeah, once you start putting fire into droids, they they quickly disappear, and look how it shows. A turn later, man,
Mm-hmm.
the battlefield looks dramatically different than
Right.
what it did earlier.
So here's General Grievous. We'll see if Grievous actually wants to get in a position to do something, and it looks like he is.
Ooh,
Oh
he might be
boy.
setting up for next turn doing training your Jedi arts.
Which
He very well
honestly,
could.
yeah, honestly, that doesn't. Oh man. Oh boy. Here we go.
This might be bad.
This could be bad. Now, I will say this is also possibly bad for TalkPolite because Grievous has a box. Oh, so he's going to take the shot. He's trying to kill the unit leader to make him drop the box here. Oh, man. So using Relentless to take the shot. Gets
Oh
2
man, does he
crits.
get it?
Oh, he is, yeah. Good night. Good night. He's gone. That's a Pierce on one model, so it doesn't matter. So that box is going to be dropped for the clones.
Yeah, I don't think that dropping the box there is horrible, especially since it's only turn two.
Well, it's not horrible, and it's especially not horrible if Gray's able to rally so they can move and claim.
Yeah,
Um,
I think the scary part's going to be the next turn, seeing training your uh, Jedi arts. Oh, so apparently they're making the claim that some clones are able to be seen because he
nope, he's
definitely pulled
just.
some off.
I think he's just switching it out temporarily because I don't think that last clone was able to be seen at all. So go ahead and ask the players, see what's going on there. I think it. Hold on, let's see.
Looks like they're talking that. Yep,
Yep,
they're dragging one back in. Okay,
yep.
everything's
So when you say, hey, you actually, I couldn't see him. That's why the unit leader died. Because it's the only time you can kill the unit leaders if it's the only model seen or one of the only few models seen that are eligible to die, and you roll enough
and it worked
hits.
out.
Yep. So yeah, Grievous getting spicy here.
Oh man, this is gonna be interesting. Turn one or turn three.
I do think we might see Tija, which the scary part about Tija happening here though, trained in your Jedi arts. That's kind of the abbreviation for it for those who are watching who aren't familiar with the lingo. So it looks like this was not a rally, so I wouldn't be surprised to see just a single move to contact here. Yep, so just
And
move
yeah,
to
that's
contact the
the only
box.
move he has.
Just needs to be in a position to claim that box and run away. Um, because if he goes with train your Jedi arts here, that
He's
makes hell
measuring it out
that
right
makes
now.
well that makes hello there really good because that means Obi-Wan can take a standby and like Obi-Wan's still within range of a good amount of separatist units because then if he goes he won't have cunning, which means Obi-Wan has a chance to go first too.
I almost guarantee
Oh,
it's gonna be hello there versus Trainer Jedi Arts, just because
yeah.
I saw TalkPolite start measuring the distances,
I personally I think would still go with fear, surprise, and intimidation
just to make sure that you.
because then what you can do is you get rid of the standby in Obi-Wan.
Yes.
Fear,
Well,
surprise,
we're
and
about to
or
see.
what you do? No, you do fear, surprise, and intimidation.
There
Yes,
we go.
you uplink your droid units to give them all orders. Dooku has an order, and then you pull with Grievous first and go with Grievous first. That's what you do here.
I think that's
But we're gonna
probably what we're
see,
gonna see.
yeah.
I
But we're
think
gonna
hello there is the
see,
correct move, though. 100%.
yeah.
Is
Well, I guess the
correct.
question is then, do you force push Obi-Wan to get rid of the standby? That's inevitably going to come out before, because otherwise he gets a free shot on Dooku. So the question is, do you go with Grievous or do you go with it depends on if the standby comes out. It's how much does Talk Polite value Dooku not getting slashed?
It's a tough call. I'm not sure right now.
I don't know exactly.
I think
My
you
gut
kind of
says my gut says go with Dooku first, remove the standby to remove the possibility of an additional free attack from Obi-Wan in melee and dodge up, and then go with Grievous second because Grievous can take a shot.
yeah,
Like
he
he has
has
enough
plenty of
health.
health left.
Yeah, he has enough health to take a single shot. So he should hello there should get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tokens, I believe, because there is this unit leader that is hiding back around the side that is within 2 of Obi-Wan.
Just reminding him that Grievous does have a wound, and it's hiding behind the building here. Even though he has a wound, that's still 7 wounds left on red saves that you're gonna have to march through before
Yeah.
there's any problems.
TalkPolite, of course, pointing out that, hey, you may actually have one more than you're thinking about. So there's the standby. So that's 1 token. 3 dodges. I think he should have one more. Yep. So he's not taking any aims. I would take 1 aim
Yeah,
at the
and
very
that's
least.
I agree. You
So I
always
think
want 1 aim, maybe even. Well, how many dodges does he have? He's what, 4?
2, 3, 4. So I think what you do is you want to take probably 1 aim. I think he may be dodging up specifically because he anticipates Grievous coming into melee with him, though.
Yep.
And he
I
wants to
think,
protect
yeah.
Obi-Wan's health as much as possible. Because the nice thing about Obi-Wan with those dodges is he can then reduce the amount of incoming hits, and then it'll still trigger Sarasu Mastery, which will then allow, um, which would then 100% allow him to, he can deflect technically in melee and deal wounds to other melee users
Yep.
by doing that, which is really awesome for Obi-Wan. Now, I think we're going to see Dooku activate here. We are probably going to see the Force push.
Yeah, to burn that standby.
Burn the standby, prevent him from using it. Yep, so here comes the Force push.
Oh. I was like, wait a minute, is he pushing him into. He can't push into combat.
Yes, he can.
With another unit, really?
I think you can. Yeah, you can Force push into melee with another unit, but it won't trigger anything.
Got it.
Because you're technically moving into base, but what it does is now this protects Grievous from being shot.
Yes, which is the important one.
Which is
here.
the important part. Gets rid of the standby, and now we're going to see Dooku probably jump in on the clones. Because now he has Relentless, so I wouldn't be surprised what you see is maybe he double moves into a unit that he wants to slice, and then uses his Lightning on Gray to eliminate them from the field. Yeah, some very climactic action going here. Magoats, welcome to
Oh my
watching.
god, we're joined by Magoats.
Yeah, we're honored by the great Magoats, the admin himself from the Legion Discord, coming in as we see Dooku go in. So looks like
Which
hold
one is
on.
he in
Yeah.
contact with? Yeah, because you can only be in contact with 1 unit, not 2.
Here, you message the players. Because yeah, he's currently in an illegal position with Dooku because you cannot be in base with 2.
Yeah, so he needs to choose whether it's yellow or green. He can
And
be
he
the
actually
exact same position.
I don't know if he can fit there without being in base.
Yeah, and he technically is overlapping yellow, but we're gonna let that one slide.
I mean, we'll have to see because I think technically it's too tight for him to fit without basing. So yeah, he's gonna have to move back. Yep, that's the exact right call there. Because
Yep.
now yellow should snap in. Remind them that yellow needs to step in before the attack happens because that's important for cohesion for remaining models. Alright, just talking with players, getting that all cleared up. So yellow snaps in. There's only one spot that was left open, and here we go. Ooh.
Well, that's one way.
Let's see how many clones fall to this. Because the clones can also just save really hot.
What, Pierce 2?
And that is a dead unit.
That is not a lot you can do about that one.
Oh, yes.
Needed at least one more save there.
So, I
However,
think...
that means Grievous is... Or not Grievous, Dooku's kind of
So,
standing
yep.
out in the open.
Here comes the lightning, because it has to go out. You can actually not use the lightning in melee for Dooku. So it has to go out for this turn because it has versatile on this turn only. You cannot use it
And
in melee.
Arsenal,
Yep.
too.
Yep, it cannot be used in melee because the weapon itself does not have the melee symbol on its attack profile. So you're going to see that lightning come out here. Ooh, that's
2.
not
It's
going to
not
kill the
terrible.
unit. That will not kill the unit. I think that is Pierce 1 on that lightning as well.
Correct. And Obi-Wan's a little too far to Sorosu it away.
It is scatter, though. So it should only be two. So at most that leaves that's actually big. LJ really wanted to kill that leader. So
Ouch.
LJ is probably going to, excuse me, TalkPolite is probably going to just choke that unit leader then if he has choke up, which he should, in order to
Looks
eliminate
like
that.
it is currently available.
Yeah. Master of the Force 2 makes it so you can really get back those force powers when you need it, and that's the biggest perk of taking Dooku is you have a speed 2 force user with Master of the Force 2.
Yeah, you don't have jump, which is perfectly fine.
Hey,
You
Sith
don't have charge.
Sith Lords don't need jump. That's a Jedi thing. You can all jump around like acrobats and go crazy.
Yeah,
So,
so he can choke and
was
kill
it?
off this whole squad if he wants.
Yes, was it Pierce 1 on it? Let me take a look over here.
It has Pierce 1, so
So
yes,
that should
should
have
be 2 then.
been, yeah, yeah. So then there's the choke. Just going to confirm.
Looks like they're still working through some stuff, but effectively it should be a dead squad if he uses choke.
All right.
And it looks like he's not using choke. Okay.
He's going to choke the heavy instead, which is
Yep.
also fine because with that squad being as suppressed as they are with 3 suppression,
Yeah, there's a
they
good
may only
chance
get
that.
one action, which means, and they haven't claimed the box, which means it's unlikely they're going to run away, which means he might just try to use choke at the beginning of the following turn.
And here
Um,
we go with Kenobi.
and looks like he recovered force choke and force push, and reflexes is down. All right.
Hey, can I play post Order 66 clones and get like
Ooh,
Night
that's
Sister?
really those are really good dice to reroll with the aim with those whites already showing up. Is he not? Oh, he doesn't have the free aim, and he didn't take an aim action.
Yep.
Oh, that hurts.
That could have potentially been really nice.
That could have potentially really
Where
nice.
is he getting those 2 impervious? Is that
Yep,
how?
impervious would add 2 more for Pierce 2.
Gotcha. Ouch.
Oh no! Ooh,
That'll be 4 wounds.
that'll be 4 wounds on Grievous.
Man, if Kenobi rolled that, holy hell, that'd be a dead Grievous.
And then he's no, you cannot stand by if you perform an attack action.
Yep. It is
So I think
should have taken it
maybe
immediately.
maybe a lack of knowledge. They're not understanding completely how that works. Um,
Maybe he meant dodge and hit the wrong button.
yeah, and then I mean reflexes to get another dodge for sure, and then maybe he's just dodging up even further.
So then what did he do with his action there? He just attacked and then what?
I think it maybe took a dodge, maybe not using reflexes because it doesn't look like reflexes is not exhausted.
Alright.
So not necessarily the most efficient Jedi play I've ever seen, but not necessarily horrible either. Looks like these clones are about to be taking an open shot from these red droids, though. That could be nasty.
I would assume they're out of range 1 of Kenobi.
They might just be in. We'll find out. We'll see if they decide to use Guardian here. So right now that is only 2, unless he decides to use a Surge.
Looks like possibly. Yeah,
So yeah,
like he's
looks like
gonna
he'll
use 1.
force it. Yeah, he'll use it to force them to make 4 saves, risk the entire unit, and looks like all 4 will be rolled on the clones, no Guardian, of which they will
Ouch.
lose 3. So that'll be just the unit leader, and that is another heavy weapon down. So that is
Yeah, clones are quickly evaporating here in return.
looks like the clones are actually out of heavy weapons now. They have none left in the entire army because they lost yellow, which was a Z6 squad, and then the DC-15 got choked out of the green squad, and the red just lost their heavy. So there are no longer any heavy weapons remaining in the Republic forces.
Man, I makes me wish I could use a Sith user in the in the clones.
Sith are good.
Let me get my seventh sister.
Sith are Sith are really fun. You should come over to the dark side and play. Yeah, you need to drop your ATSTs, sir, and play a little more Vader in your life. Get
I'm
some of
good.
that action going on.
I'm good.
We should also.
However, we have a 500 point skirmish tournament coming up at my local store next month, and I'm totally gonna do the stupid Op Vader um, Palpatine, and then two naked clones or two naked storms as my list.
Vader Palp. Man after my
Just
own heart.
just because it would be hilarious at 500 points. It'll
Yeah.
be terrible, but it'd be funny.
So the question is, do you shoot the droids or Dooku here? I would shoot
Uh,
Dooku.
Dooku, because he's just sitting there in the open with a surge.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
all he has.
I would, I
I
would.
put everything into Dooku and hope for the best.
I think you're kind of in a losing proposition here, but if you don't take care of Dooku, Dooku's gonna steal your own back box. So yeah, so they use the aim, but it looks like he did elect to shoot the droids, getting all
That's
four.
that'll do it.
So 3 saves for the droids here, of which 3 will
Oh,
die.
that's three dead. So that
So
leaves him with the heavy and the unit leader.
yep. So just
I
an
still
E5C.
think Grieve or Dooku is the better choice because he's sitting there in the open.
Mm-hmm.
Blue could have thrown in on him. I mean, you don't have much left to throw in on him.
I mean, I guess that maybe he's going after the activations he feels he can assuredly kill to try to even up a little bit. But
You're putting the entire army on uh, Kenobi's back at that point. Then
yeah, yeah, it's
yeah, I
difficult.
could fire red. Ouch.
Ooh, so there's no surges there. That's the rough part there.
But
Wow, that conversion though.
so to quote the famous Luck Cook, just roll crit,
Just roll crits.
and then somehow hit 00 back to back. Ouch.
And goodbye, red. So another activation eliminated for the Republic. They are down to 4, having half their activations been eliminated at this point.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what's going to be left at the end of this turn because blue has yet to activate and gray, but gray is effectively written off.
Yeah. We'll see what Gray actually gets to do. I'm trying to think about how the clone player comes back at this point.
With two lightsaber users within charge range of Obi-Wan, I don't know if you can. You would have had to
It's
get very lucky with both green and blue shooting at
I
Dooku.
think I think honestly he wanted to Guardian. He especially with all these dodges up, I think he should have
Oh,
tried to
for
Guardian
sure.
more. Because you can Guardian while you're in melee with another unit.
I don't know if he had the range to Guardian though. That's the
That's the
problem.
thing. Yeah, there's been from the clone player we specifically seen today. If there was one critique that I was to make, I think it's just you really want to watch your sharing rain Guardian ranges. You need to really clump up and be within one of each other, and maintain that in order to really use the faction to its highest
Yeah, that's the
effectiveness.
only like gameplay thing that he's been doing wrong. His choice of targets, I mean, that's kind of up to the player individually as to what they see that
Yep.
they think they can do.
Ooh, good
Should just roll
shot.
crits.
There you go. Good shot. So throwing those into the red droids. 4 saves. And they will make none, so that is more eliminated from the board. Both armies getting thinned out significantly here.
Yeah, I just think with those two heroes in your backfield that you need to take at least one of them out. Otherwise, they're just going to mow through whatever's left of your force.
Yeah, the other thing with the decision to aim shoot there is I fear that black unit leaders, yeah, he's just going to run to the edge of the board now.
Yep.
Because now he's completely uncontestable. He's not going to be able to be shot. And
And the
that's like,
bark speeder
yeah,
gone does not help either.
yeah. One of the main disadvantages of both these new factions is you don't have those snipers that can take those long range shots to eliminate the single unit leaders, which is one of the best points that of those snipers that they can take. Um, and that yellow squad's still full, the white squad with the box is still fully healthy. Oof. Excuse the
I
crack.
I'm pretty sure that we're going to see white not be touched at this point. Red and orange might get eliminated just as almost like a token victory here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with Grievous still yet to activate, Dooku next turn going to pop, I don't know, pick any card.
I
I
think
think
I
that,
think we might see Tija next turn.
yeah, I think you won't get away from seeing that card be played this coming turn. I think you have to.
I think what
Failing
the
all
play
this,
is, yeah, I think the play is Tija, But the question is, yeah, when Brown activates, they need to probably recover shoot if they can, so they get their uplink back. You play Tija next turn because you now are like guaranteed to have priority because your opponent burned his 1 pip. And then what you do is Grievous has an order. Um, you HQ uplink your droids, so you bounce it all, so they all get an order, and then you go first with Dooku, choke the unit leader, and then like kill another squad, like kill green,
Yep.
move into melee, kill green.
Yeah,
Um,
choke out Gray and then kill
and
off Ray
Grievous
with
just
their saber.
withdrawing here,
Ooh,
saying
interesting.
I don't want to swing into all those dodge tokens. Obi-Wan can't win on his own. I'm really wounded.
Yep.
So maybe again, this is maybe just a setup for Tija.
Hey, there's a good chance that Obi-Wan could deflect and kill
Well,
Grievous
actually,
with
what
an
this
overkill
what this
spell.
probably is this is Grievous getting ready to just play Tija and run away to
Looks
safety.
that way, yeah.
You know, also opening up for all these guys to shoot Obi-Wan, even with all those dodges. Kind of a risky proposition, but put the fire on
They're
while you
droids,
can.
they're expendable.
Well, that's not going to do much against those dodge tokens.
I think honestly you burn all the dodge tokens.
Yeah, I just say don't take saves.
Yep. Load dodge tokens and don't take any saves.
Look, I'll just use 2 dodges, get 1 back from Nimble. Okay, next. Thanks for the heavy cover. Thank you, next. Um,
Yeah, he still needs the suppression.
Obi-Wan channeling his Ariana Grande. And looks like white is going to be getting out of dodge. Whee! So I think, yep,
White did what they were supposed to, which was a thing and then run.
yep. No, I'm just gonna play the objective now. Thanks. Bye. Um,
Yeah, let Grievous, or not Grievous, let Dooku sit around and just become a nuisance, preventing anything from going forward to try and take any of the crates.
yep. I also appreciate TalkPolite here, kind of playing safer, not getting greedy. Not seeing the potential for a table and going for it. Um,
I've always subscribed to the theory of you always play the objective.
yep,
Every single game system I've played has objectives, and the moment you forget about it is the moment you lose.
yep. And I think this is
There's been
exactly
so
what's
many
happening
games.
here
Well,
too.
let's
You know,
let's take a peek at Riha and how he forgot the objective and lost the game because of it.
I've done it as well. I myself have pulled a Reha too many times. I should have learned better by now. Good shot.
Oh well, I mean
Well,
that's
2 surges is not great, but he can at least spend 1 because he did not aim. He did a recover, so this should be. How did all of those convert? No, it was just the one. So it
um
was one hit, it was 2 surges, 1 hit, 1 crit. But it would only be. I think that's an overroll.
I he might be saying that he's touching the hill, sort of moving it from
They would still, yeah, and they didn't have light cover. So yeah, I guess that would. No, because the surge doesn't convert. No,
crit
1 and 3.
and three
I'm
hits.
losing my mind. We're
He
fine.
had 8 surge
Everything's
token.
fine here. How are you? Yeah, 1 hit, 1 crit, 2 hits, 2 surges, convert 1, makes
Yep,
4 saves in the open.
correct.
Yes, guys, I know how to play this game, and gals if we have anyone watching. So yeah, what are you calling here? I think Tija
Five
versus knowledge and defense.
5 wounds on. I mean, he's at risk of losing Grievous. Yeah, I mean, we kind of saw it.
Yeah,
Yep,
because it's you just have guaranteed priority now because Obi-Wan's 1 pip is burned, and it's very likely he brought Rex's 1 pip, which was eliminated by eliminating Rex early on.
yep.
So I honestly, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to even just see Grievous go first here. Um, Especially with the suppression still on the unit that just claimed the box, and Grievous, Dooku being able to get close enough. Um,
I
yeah.
don't think Kenobi's going to gain any.
Is it range 1?
Yeah, it's range 1.
So yeah, he's no
He's going to gain
dodges.
nothing from it.
Oof. Yeah, this is why it's so critical to watch your ranges. It's also why typically you see knowledge of defense played. It's knowledge of defense and then hello there, because on the knowledge of defense turn you dodge up, Guardian a bit, and then go last with Obi-Wan and go in on your opponent, and then hello there to get all your tokens up again. So yeah, so Grievous is probably just gonna run away. I wouldn't even be surprised if he just double moved and scaled up on top of a building.
Oh,
Oh, no dodges. So he's going in. Aim, move, swing. Here we go. Because he's got the
he's
dodge up.
he's going a little crazy with this.
No, I think it's actually completely fair. I think
Oh, I
it's
think
you.
I think it's a good move.
Yeah.
I mean, the safe move would be to run away and never be seen again, but I feel like this is one of those, hey, I gotta make it at least somewhat of a close game.
Oh, good rollout. However, does he surge on offense? No, he does not. So not quite as good as you might think. He does have one surge? No, not even a surge. So that's going to be 5 saves for Obi-Wan. If he chooses to not,
Oh,
he has
no.
no dodge. What?
Jedi Hunter. Surge
Jedi
to crit.
Hunter. Yes, surge to crit.
Oh. Well then. That would be a dead Kenobi.
Oh. Man, if that was a Suresu roll.
That would be a dead Grievous. That'd be a dead
Oh,
Grievous.
that hurts so much to
If he
see.
had one dodge from having a clone unit close enough, that would have been a dead Grievous instead.
Oh.
That would have been beautiful. That would have been the ultimate return. Oh man.
Oh, man. Daniel, I'm sorry. I'm hurting for you right now.
Oh man.
Oh,
Well,
brutal. Yeah,
that's
just
why
of.
you need to stick close to your troops when you're playing clones. You
Yes.
have to stay within range one of at least one or two. You need to operate them almost as a giant bubble.
Yeah, so the clones trying to avenge their fallen commander here. These clones have been rolling really hot.
I'm
These
not
this
arguing with it. They're
this
doing really
squad in
well.
particular has been rolling like full dice on full dice. Let's see if he can get another conversion here with these two rerolls from the aim. That's a crit at the very least, so that'll be 4. Grievous can make it 3
I think
by
he
using
has to.
using his dodge here. It's the only significant shot into him this turn. He should be fine.
I
Let's
don't
see
know.
what he
He could
rolls.
die. He will not die,
He will
but he'll
take
be
1.
within one wound of death.
He's at 8 health,
Oh,
sir.
he's at 8. Yep.
Yeah, he has as much health as Commander Darth Vader. So, Grievous is fine.
Wait, did he have a surge or something to change that one
He used
surge?
the dodge token to activate block, so he lowered it from
Ah,
4
block.
rolls to 3,
Okay.
rolled 3. He rolled a blank block surge, and that would convert to a block, but no deflect. And yep, there's the choke from Dooku. And Dooku is just going to move up.
I think you're going to see lightning on blue, reposition them so they can get shot down by brown, red, and orange, and then green as well is going to be in trouble.
Yeah, so let's see what this say. Yeah, here, no, here's the force push.
Ah, doing the force push instead.
Oh no, he did not
Into
measure
melee.
that right. He cannot make melee because that is not a legal spot to end.
Yep. So close.
Aha! Someone does not know how to measure with their range 1 move tools. TalkPolite. You need to play more Vader, sir. Oh, just giving him a good time. I'm sure he'll watch back the cast and enjoy me ripping this. So then here comes the lightning, I'm sure, into green to try to eliminate them. Yeah, before they can activate. Just take another activation off the board.
Yeah,
And
because then
then,
that's
yeah,
blue is all that's left.
yeah. Actually, this actually
Wow.
this works out a little better for TalkPolite here because he's just going to eliminate those clones very likely unless they save everything. Is it Pierce 2 or Pierce 1?
Here's one. He should be rolling. Oh, they're calling it.
Okay. So they're
They're
going to
going
call it.
on session, which is probably the safe bet there. I think the writing's on the
Yeah.
wall.
I think we're basically looking at a tabling right now. So,
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be all those shots.
seeing if the players want to do a quick post game after this quick 3-round game,
All right,
we're going to
go ahead.
jump over
Go
with
over there.
them and I'll see you over there.
Yep. waiting on Nerfly. There he is.
There he is.
All right,
Hi.
gentlemen. Thank you for the entertainment. It's a beautiful battle here. A nice clear morning on Jeddah. Um, Congratulations on the win. First off, TalkPolite. Well
Thank
done.
you, sir.
That was a very impressive display of what Double the Fall can do. Daniel, good fight. Kind of hurt.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do my best
yeah,
against the hard list. Yeah.
yeah. It hurts to lose Rex that early. I've been there myself. Especially when you bring all those command cards and lose access to. At least you got two of them out of your hand before he went down. But Daniel, do you have
Yeah,
any thoughts on the game?
it was a nice game, but I have no luck against Separatists. It's the fourth game for me against the Separatists and no win. It's very difficult to me to make an experience to how I can play against this army. Normally I place the Imperials. I have a better feeling with this army. I learning a lot of the clones, but it's very difficult to play against Grievous and Dooku with the good command cards. But it was very nice. A nice game. I have learned a lot. So when I go next month to the European Championship, I think I've been ready for the Separatists for the first win against these guys.
Excellent. Practice makes perfect. When you lose and
Yeah.
lose again, you make mistakes, you learn from that, you get better, and then you come back and win. So, looking forward to you to do well over there in that tournament. We're excited to see those results come up online after it's done. Um, do you have any shout outs you want to make to the German community who came on to watch you today?
Yeah, I've posted the Twitch, the game on my Facebook site, so I think a lot of Germans have seen the game and see me, the community leader, lost against a good American player. So it's very, very fun for me.
Excellent. Well, hey, all this does is give us fuel for a rematch in the future, isn't that right?
Yeah, I hope for this rematch. Yes.
Yeah,
Excellent.
definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right, and talk polite. Your thoughts on the game?
I mean, it's good to get the legs out on this double default list. This is a slightly different configuration that I'm used to running, and I do feel pretty good about it, especially after that game. This list is a potential world's contender for me. It was really nice to give it a run against um, uh, this OB Rex list that I got to play today. I liked his list a lot. I knew his heavy weapons would be very threatening, so I tried to focus that down first, take out some of his heavy hitters, and I think that generally worked well for me, and was able to run around with Grievous and a box, which doesn't happen very often. But it was fun to imagine. We were talking about it in game, that we imagined Grievous running up, grabbing the box, running away, deciding he couldn't let Obi-Wan out of his sight, going back and trying to finish him off himself.
Nice.
Which was with the narrative we had created during the game was quite funny. You were pointing out like, "Hey, don't forget this," and we're over here essentially drinking beer during this game, like throwing dice and seeing what happens, and it was truly, truly ridiculous at some points of this game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the best type of game to have, is a really fun yet competitive game.
Yeah.
hmm
Definitely.
But yeah, overall, it was GG's all around. I enjoyed it and had fun. And today's a banner day for our team because I believe either 3 or maybe even 4 out of 5 of our games are being played today. So
Oh
the
man.
German Cantina game versus Weak Point Weak Point Front rather. That's what we are this season. Might be decided today.
All right. Well, that'll be fun to see. I'll look to see those results roll in. I will say my favorite, and by favorite I mean most heartbreaking moment of the game for me, was that defense roll from Obi-Wan on that attack when Grievous came in. When those dice came up, I was like, if he only he'd used a dodge token. Oh man, because that would have been
Yeah,
amazing to see Grievous just get butchered like that on his own attack.
yeah,
Uh,
we were definitely talking about that as soon as the roll happened. I was very happy he did not earn any dodges from his command card, and that basically made my decision to rush into that combat and
mhm.
see if I could finish him off. And I didn't think it would be that easy, but that's the game sometimes.
Yep, I've had that happen to a Vader where sometimes your dice just don't show up and oh, that happened. And you move on and you do your best you can. Well, thank you
Yeah,
gentlemen so much for this afternoon entertainment. Got to
Thank you for
yep.
streaming.
Of course. I'm
yeah,
excited to see how the rest of the match between your two teams turns out. Any other highlights you think we should be? Any other games that are being streamed that you know of by
All
anyone else in
right,
the community?
so you want me to cover all that real quick? We can hop in
Yes.
another channel to let these two do their thing.
Yep.
Let's
We
go
can.
up
Sure.
to
We'll do that.
7.
So thank you both. Have a good rest of your day, and looking forward to seeing you in the future.
Yeah,
Yes,
thanks for
thank you.
coming, guys.
Bye.
All right, so coming up, so what I really need is to have a channel created, and I don't have the ability to in Yavin based Team League, similar to how I had in Vader League. I have a streaming schedule, so I'll talk to some admins, get a streaming schedule put up for Yavin based Team League. But coming up is at 1 o'clock is Eternal RMG versus ER36. They had requested a streamer, but the game should already be going on, so we don't have anybody there for that. Mbueha Ben is playing Baffled by the Reflected Light tonight, 4 o'clock, in another 2.5 hours. I might be able to cover that, but it kind of depends on what I have going on here. And then later this week,
Go Team Relentless. Sorry, just got to throw that out there.
tomorrow we have Nima versus Nocturnal Loner. That's at 4:30 in the afternoon. That would be a little rough for me to cover because that's probably about when I'm getting home if I'm even lucky. But then we have Zero Moon versus Ghost Walking. Mike and Mike battle. Battle generic white people names. And I probably can cover that one because that's at 1900 is 7 o'clock? Yeah. So I might be able to cover that one tomorrow night. And then later this week, you're picking up the Pope Salami versus JJ Juggernaut at the 5th at 7 o'clock Eastern as well.
Indeed, yeah. And if any of you guys want to see these certain game streams, definitely let us know on the Discord is probably the best way. If you know, hey, this is a game I really want to see, we can make our way to do it. There's a lot of games that are going to be happening. Everybody's sinking their teeth into the new season. So we can't cover all of them, but we'll do our best to cover as many as we can, according for our real life streamer schedules. Because shockingly, we actually do have lives outside of the internet.
Believe it or not.
Believe it or
And
not.
yes, so if you want to have your game streamed, we have a new way of doing it this season. So in the looking for streamer channel, I'm trying to pop it up. I created a Google form, which is one of the most amazing freaking things ever. That allows you to basically input all the information that we need. So basically asks you for the players playing, the time and date of your game, preferably in Eastern. I actually have like a converter in there that tells you how to do it. What league it's going to be part of, because this way we can use this exact form for every single streaming game. Asking for the players' names, lists, preferred pronouns, preferred names to be identified by, and of course getting the consent of both players. But use that form. It's in the streaming channel. It's a pinned message, so you can always pull it up. And you can submit your game to be streamed there. Then on our back end, we get a spreadsheet that has all the information and allows us to sign up and view when things are available. And I'll create some sort of a schedule to push that out as well, so everyone will be able to see when things are coming up. But yeah, that'll really help this season and seasons going forward have a really nice, coherent way for people to sign up, and then for us to be able to find out what games we can cover.
All right. Well, with that, folks, we're going to be ending the stream for this afternoon. So thank you all for coming out and watching. If you didn't catch it or were expecting it to go a little longer, you can definitely catch the replay here on the channel. A big thanks to Yavin Base for setting up the Team League and for running it and organizing it. David's a great guy, runs a really cool event here. I'm excited to see what comes out of this season and what other cool moments we get, like the Grievous slashdown that we saw at the end of this game. Also, thank you to the 5th Trooper for sponsoring the league. They're putting out some great prize support. You can check that out on the Yavin Base website, which you can find through the Legion Discord and through multiple links. They're circling around there. If you can maybe post that in the chat for me, Dark, I would really appreciate that.
Hold on, what was the question I was typing?
The link,
real quick.
yeah, the link to the Yavin Base blog, so people can check out all the information on the league. So we'll get that posted in the chat for you folks as we get out to wrap up here. And yeah,
right,
thank you all for
spamming it now.
There we go. Thank you all for coming out. Dark, thank you for coming on and chatting. It's been a pleasure to have you on here again. Look forward to doing more of these throughout the season.
Absolutely. Hopefully I'll have you on mine and I'll be on yours, and we'll hopefully get other people as well. And again, if you want to become a streamer, please just PM me and we can make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you all, folks, and have a good rest of your day.